Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Zither here, and I am back at it again to drop part 3 for What If Naruto Had Black Air Force Energy. Now, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've been having an absolute blast with this series. Recording this Naruto that gives absolutely 0 Fs has been the funnest thing. Probably the most fun What If that I've ever recorded in a while, other than my Daredevil series, because when I did that one, I was really hyped to do that series. Quick question, would you guys be down for me to drop a What If Deku or Naruto was the Iron Fist? Not because of the Netflix adaptation, because honestly, that one seems a little bit whack, so I would honestly have to, tweak it a little bit and maybe give him a little bit of that backstory because, it seemed kind of cool. But yeah, if you guys would be down, please comment it down below. Also, that being said, as always, this video is going to be sponsored, and we're kind of just going to be picking off the story right where it left off in the last part. So with that being said, I hope you guys do go on to enjoy the What If. Alright, so before we get started, I just have to say, what was that last little thing I just said? I really said what if like this. What if? Like I had a mental brain freeze. But that's besides the point, okay? The point is, we're going to be getting started right where we left off. So, this is where I'm going to get into my what if YouTuber mode. Alright, so let's get started. As Naruto would basically proceed to rush at Kankuro. This is when Naruto would take out a Kuna and quite literally slit Kankuro's throat. Not on some jokes. Naruto would quite literally end Kankuro in an instant. After this, Temari would take out her fan and she would slash at the air, causing Naruto to get blown back just a tiny bit. And Naruto at this point would then kind of just scoff as he would tell Konohamaru to run out of here. This is when Sasuke would basically kind of body flicker behind Temari and say, "How dare you lay a hand on my brother?" As basically he would pretty much proceed to lift up his hand, as he would proceed to pretty much just say, air palm fist or something like that. Gale palm or something like, I don't know. He would do something that would pretty much cause Temari to get a giant burst of wind and chakra blown straight into her chest. That would pretty much cause Temari to drop down to her knees and fall out due to unconsciousness. After seeing this, Gaara would get enraged, saying, "How dare you harm my siblings?" Just kidding, he would not do that, but he would kind of just get angry at the fact that, he hurt those people because he knows them. Not because he cares about them, but because he knows them. After that, Gaara would quite literally, his eyes would widen as he would shoot sand at Naruto. And this is when Naruto would stand still, as he would pretty much do what Guy did when Gaara shot the sand at Rock Lee. He pretty much disperses it and then looks at Gaara with a death stare. Gaara would immediately say, "Those eyes. I've seen those eyes before," as he would be, talking gibberish. And Naruto would look at Gaara as he would say, "You're projecting a whole lot of bloodlust. I'm going to need you to take it down a few notches." As he would quite literally blitz behind Gaara and kick him right on the back of the head. And Gaara, realizing this, would have a sand barrier come up. But Naruto would quite literally kick straight through the sand, destroying it and grabbing onto Gaara's head. However, the second that Naruto took to kick through the sand, Gaara would have literally just not body flickered, but he would have substituted out of there, and this caused Naruto to pretty much destroy the sand clone which was left behind. After this, Gaara would have a lot of sand go up to Naruto, and right before he was about to crush it, Sasuke would rush in right into Gaara as he would say, "Chidori!" And I'm guessing a lot of you guys are probably wondering how Sasuke ended up learning the Chidori. Well, Naruto ended up actually asking Kakashi about that, basically once Kakashi was able to open his eyes, because once he was able to do that, he couldn't walk for the next couple of days, but he just asked what that was. After that, Naruto basically ended up doing a little bit of learning, and Sasuke actually ended up learning the Chidori. Naruto ended up learning a different variation of it, one that instead of being like the Chidori, which gives you tunnel vision, is pretty much the perfected version of the Chidori. Now Sasuke hasn't quite been able to master that one, but yeah, that's pretty much the reason why Sasuke has it. Also, that being said, he has about 2 bursts of the Chidori before it finally runs out. And after that, Sasuke would quite literally stab the Chidori right into Gaara's heart, as Gaara's heart would stop and he would fall down onto the ground. Sasuke would then take out his hand as Naruto would quite literally go over to Gaara as he pretty much starts stomping Gaara's head in, literally causing it to cave in on itself. As Naruto would say, "Don't you ever hurt my brother again!" As he would then literally walk over to Konohamaru with a smile and blood all over himself. As he would say, "Let's go home, Konohamaru." Now, this one Konohamaru, after seeing this, would get pretty scared. And he would quite literally just be like, okay, Naruto. As Naruto would basically just say, alright, go to Lord Third, just tell him about this. And Kankuro and Temari and Gaara would have pretty much all died. Actually, Temari didn't actually end up dying, did she? I knocked her out. Alright, Temari would pretty much be able to return to the village because all she did was fight back. She didn't exactly hurt Naruto or make him angry, but Gaara, the only reason that he got the fate that he got was because he projected bloodlust onto Naruto. And that is a big, big no-no. You do not do that to our boy Naruto. Absolutely not. After that, though, Naruto would basically go to the ramen shop with Sasuke as he and him would act as if nothing just happened. And they would pretty much proceed to just have a blast at the ramen shop. You know, they would be taking out 2 of the seats. And this is when a couple of Chunin would come in as they would look at Naruto and one of them would give Naruto an angry look. This one, Naruto would continue eating and notice it. And as Naruto does, he pretty much looks at him and says, "You got a problem with me?" This one, the man would say, "No, not at all." As Naruto would say, "Well, it looks like you have a staring problem." As the guy would pretty much just say, "And what if I do?" As Naruto would pretty much just grab it, look over to the man, look over at his little ninja pouch where he has his kunais and stuff like that, and then think, you know what? This guy's going to get a fate worse than that. As he would pretty much, as soon as Ichiraku would pretty much bring out his ramen, this one Naruto would grab his bowl as he would quite literally throw the ramen into the guy's face, causing it to burn him. As Naruto would then pretty much just proceed to laugh. And at that point, he would pretty much just eat the rest of the ramen in the guy's bowl. As he would grab it and his own and pretty much just walk off as if he literally just did nothing. Not only that, but he would then look towards the guy as the ninja, as he would pretty much turn towards him and say, "Oh, and also you're paying for my meal because if you don't." As the ninja would have basically gone into a fighting stance, but Naruto projected his bloodlust onto him. And after that, the ninja kind of just backed out saying, "Absolutely not having it. I do not feel like dying." And Naruto and Sasuke pretty much ended up leaving after that. This is when all of them would pretty much be informed of the Chunin exams and Naruto would realize why those ninja were there. Naruto would then chuckle saying that if that's all that they had, Naruto was going to become a Chunin easily. This is when he would look towards Sasuke's direction and say, "Looks like I'm going to be the only one to become a Chunin this year." As Kakashi would say, "What are you talking about?" And Naruto would say, isn't only one person allowed to advance? As Kakashi would say, "Actually, no. More than one people have passed the Chunin exam at once, but most of the time it's usually one or none because sometimes not even a single ninja is ready to become a Chunin." That being said, this is when Naruto would realize what that meant, as he would pretty much just say, "Alright, makes sense. I guess not everybody's cut out for this ninja life." As Naruto would put his hands in his pocket and he would pretty much begin to walk off. This is when Naruto would do some training for the next couple of days until the Chunin exams with Sasuke, by the way. And Sasuke would continue trying to, increase the output of Chidoris. During that time, he also would have been doing a little bit of training with Kakashi, trying to master the Chidori a little bit more. Also, quick note, Sasuke was actually practicing it on the way back to the village as well, so that's why he was able to get 2 bursts, because before he could only get 1. That being said, though, Kakashi and Sasuke would be working on that, and Sasuke would get pretty strong. He would be way stronger than the Sasuke in the Chunin exam, so when it comes to the Rock Lee stuff like that, yeah, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a wash. That being said, this one I'm going to skip over to the, Rock Lee situation. And in this version, instead of having Rock Lee get completely dusted on, because honestly, that's not fair, bro. Come on now, that's my boy Rock Lee. I don't feel like doing him that dirty off rip, you know what I mean? So instead of actually having him fight against Sasuke, he would actually turn his attentions towards Naruto. And Naruto would end up just telling him that he wants to save his energy for the Chunin exams. After this Rock Lee would just be like, "Come on, I am challenging you." As Naruto would basically just look at Rock Lee, as he would pretty much just tell him, "Come on, we'll have our battle in the Chunin exams." And Rock Lee would just stand there as he would think about it and say, "All right, but you better fight me in the Chunin exams. Our battle will be legendary." As Naruto Naruto would look at him, chuckle, and then say, sure, it will be. As he would walk off with Sasuke and Sakura. This one, Sakura would say, Naruto, why didn't you fight that guy back there? And Naruto would say that it seems like he has a lot of potential, but I want to find out when we can have our true battle. As Sakura would just be like, okay. As basically after this, they would all pretty much go inside and take the exam, but nobody wants to hear about how Naruto takes a written exam because nobody cares about that. So I'm just going to skip over that completely. And this is when they have the final question, which Naruto still just doesn't say anything, but just stays there saying that if he thinks that a simple little question is going to scare him off, then he's dreaming. As everybody else would end up staying, not everybody, but you know, the people who stayed. And this is when they would all go outside and they would meet Anko, where she would give them instructions on the Forest of Death. Naruto, after hearing that you're allowed to pretty much put people on t-shirts, and by that I mean KIL, kill them. I don't know why I said it so secretively, but yeah, when you can kill them, Naruto would chuckle thinking that, oh yeah, it's gonna be a bloodbath. And this is when Naruto would notice a really creepy guy who's like licking his lips while he looks at Sasuke. Naruto would notice this and not take it very lightly. He would begin to get pretty angry and begin to walk over to the man, as Anko would throw a kunai right at Naruto, which Naruto would catch in midair and then pretty much break it in half with one hand, as he would use two fingers to just crack it. It's at this point that Anko would realize that, yep, that kid's gonna survive. And after this, everybody would kind of just be allowed to go in there. However, before I do continue on to the rest of the Chunin exams, I do have to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Fandom. Alright, so Fandom is an awesome anime merch store which you guys can basically go on and save 50%. That's right, 50% on anime merch and apparel, including things like My Hero Academia, Naruto, Demon Slayer, One Piece. Pretty much all the big Shonen Jump animes that you guys can think of are the ones that they have on their stores and are available for you guys to purchase. Right now, they're having a sale on their store, and it's pretty good because their merch is already affordable. Plus the fact that they're having the sale, which is most of the things are about 50% to 40% off. So if I was you guys, I would act fast because I actually ended up copying myself a Dragon Ball hoodie. Not sure if I'm gonna put it up on screen, but I might. So if you want to see the one that I bought myself personally, you can look up on screen right now and there will be an image of the hoodie. It's a little Dragon Ball one with the symbol and Goku and the Nike sign on the back. It looks pretty dope. That being said though, yeah, that's pretty much what I ended up getting myself. And if you guys want to copy yourself any dope anime apparel, then definitely make sure to go onto Fandom. You can even use code ZETHER for 5% off at checkout, and that'll pretty much cover your shipping fees, because I mean 5% off of the order is pretty much the same price you're going to be paying for the shipping. So yeah, why not go on there and buy something from their awesome website. That being said, let's get right back into the what if. Alright, so hopping right back into the Chunin exams, we're pretty much going to pick off right where I left off. So everybody pretty much ended up going into the forest, and this is when Naruto ended up not having to actually go take a leak like he does in canon. In this version, he ends up actually just doing it quite literally right when they get in there. So as soon as they do, Naruto kind of just tells Sasuke and Sakura to turn the other way, as he does his business in about 30 seconds. And afterwards, Naruto would kind of just rush over to a river where he would wash his hands, and afterwards, they would all pretty much just start walking along, as everybody just looks at Naruto and sees just how calm he is, and they'd be wondering why Naruto doesn't have a care in the world. Naruto would say that why would he? Everything's gonna be so easy unless they run into that brown bushy hair eyebrowed guy. As this is when Sakura would say, huh? That kid? You saying he's strong? Naruto would say, oh yeah, definitely. He has a lot of potential. Don't judge a book by its cover. As Sasuke would say, well, I'd be willing to fight him then. As Naruto would say, nah, I kind of want to save that cat for myself. You're going to be fighting me. As Sasuke would just smirk as he would say, oh yeah? And you think I'll lose this time again, don't you? As Naruto would say, I know you will. This is when Sasuke would give Naruto that look of that competition look, that grin, and they would both do so, as they would both kind of just chuckle, and this is when they would continue to walk. This is when a random ninja would come in and try to pretty much take the scroll, as Naruto and Sasuke would pretty much just tell Sakura to handle this one. This one Sakura would say, I can't do that. And this one they would say, if you don't do it, we will handle you ourselves. As Sakura would realize that, yeah, they're serious. So she would end up grabbing her kunai, and this is when she would pretty much use the transformation jutsu to essentially become bigger, as she would rush at the guy. And this is when the guy would realize that she grew, as he would rush at her throwing a kick, And Sakura would basically reveal that I was just a clone and that she just did that for comedic effect, as she would pretty much jump behind him with the substitution jutsu and knock him out by throwing a paper tag bomb. He would throw the bomb at the ninja. The bomb would explode, catching the guy off guard and causing him to explode. Luckily, the ninja would actually have the scroll on his back, and Naruto would end up checking it to see that it's a perfect match. This is when they would continue to go deeper and deeper into the forest, as they would pretty much be walking there, having no care in the world. And Orochimaru would be waiting at their spot for about 30 minutes before they finally arrive. When they arrive though, they see this weird little snake person there, as Naruto would just say, "Ugh, you've been a real pain lately. If you don't leave, I'm going to have to eradicate you." As Orochimaru would pretty much lick his lips, and he'd be wearing the face mask and all that stuff, covering his face and all that. You know what I mean. You guys all know what I mean, right? As basically Naruto, realizing this, would just be like, he would sigh, as he would then pretty much body flicker behind Orochimaru, as he would say, "Such speed." This is when Naruto would use his blade to slice Orochimaru's head clean off. However, before he gets the chance, Orochimaru would regurgitate himself, and Naruto would then kick Orochimaru as he would go into Sasuke's direction. Orochimaru, doing this, would try to go and bite Sasuke. However, Sasuke would use a couple hand signs going as he would say, "Chidori!" He would rush at Orochimaru and pretty much impale him right on the side of the shoulder, as Orochimaru would let out a giant scream. And this is when Orochimaru would go in to bite Sasuke right on the neck. However, before he does that, Sakura would jump up into the air and throw a bunch of shuriken at Orochimaru. As Orochimaru would say, he would just be thinking, "Damn it," as he would have to get away from Sasuke. And it's at this point that he would basically hold out a kunai as well, saying, "Well, you guys all seem to be very skilled." This is when Naruto would look at Orochimaru and say, "Alright, you can drop the act now." As Orochimaru would just basically look at Naruto and he would say, "I know who you are. The regurgitation, the snake that you pulled out from your literal mouth, you're Orochimaru. Just take off the costume." Orochimaru would smirk as he would say, "Looks like you're a very clever one." As he would pretty much proceed to take off all the face paint and all that stuff. And Naruto would see a clear picture of what Orochimaru looks like. Naruto would then pretty much just start laughing, like incredibly laughing. He would start crackling up and his stomach would start hurting as he would fall onto his knees and say, "You're the legendary Orochimaru? The one who made the village scared and started doing all that crazy stuff?" He would start laughing in his face. He would walk over to him and put his hand literally on Orochimaru's head as he would say, "I'm your daddy." This is when Orochimaru would get angry as he would pretty much go to try to slice Naruto. But Naruto would quite literally hold his forearm out as the blade would cut like not even an inch into Naruto's hand, like not even like 4 centimeters into his arm, as his bone would be getting reinforced with chakra. And Naruto would then push his arm away from Orochimaru as he would say, "You know, you did put a lot of fear into the village though, and you gave Hiruzen a pretty hard time. How about I give you a hard time?" As he would immediately drop the little act that he was having, as Naruto would let out all of his bloodlust, everything. Naruto would let out all of his power, the Kyuubi, the black Air Force energy, the purple and black aura would surround him with a little bit of red inside of it, as Naruto's eyes would turn into a crimson color, and Naruto would then basically give Orochimaru a stare, which Orochimaru would only feel so much fear before in his life when he encountered Itachi. This is when Naruto would quite literally blitz at Orochimaru as he would pretty much slice his head off, and Sasuke would just be sitting back there with his hands in his pockets just thinking, "Hurry up, Naruto," as Naruto at this point would have Orochimaru's head and he would pretty much just throw it across the forest. He would throw the head and it would actually end up landing in front of some random team as they would scream and go, "Ah!" They would scream seeing a disembodied head, right? As it's at this point that everybody would end up leaving. And if you guys are wondering if Orochimaru actually got put on a t-shirt, no, he didn't. Orochimaru is a literal snake, bro. He's not gonna die. It's not possible. I believe he's one of the hardest anime characters to kill. Immortality? Orochimaru doesn't need that. He just needs a tiny little piece of himself to live. He's pretty much like Cell, but in Naruto. So yeah. That being said though, guys, this is when we are going to pretty much continue the what if. So afterwards, this is when they would all pretty much make it to the little tower, and they would actually be the first ones to make it for that entire day. No other team would actually be able to make it to the tower before them, and they would actually end up breaking so many records, making it even sooner than Gaara's team did, which means that Naruto ended up claiming the title for the fastest time ever recorded in all of Shinobi history. That being said, this is when all of them pretty much just ended up smirking, and for the following next couple of days, everybody would finally start showing up, as we would finally get everybody who, was gonna show up at the Tower of Heaven, or not the Tower of Heaven, but like the little place that they were at. I don't know where I got that name from, Tower of Heaven. Let me think, what anime is from? No, I think it's from Tower of God. No, actually, I don't know. Tower of Heaven. Nope, I don't know. Anyways, that being said, yeah, all of them would arrive, and they would have to have the little preliminary, seeing as there is way too many people. This is when all of the little matchups would pretty much begin to get announced, as all of them would realize that they're all going to have to fight each other. Naruto would smile, thinking that, yeah, this is about to be so much fun, as Sasuke would just kind of be thinking the same thing, thinking that he can't wait to fight Naruto. And for the first battle, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but yeah, it's not exactly going to be Kiba versus Naruto. Nope. It's going to be Naruto versus Sakura. And I'm guessing many of you guys are probably just going to be sitting there like, yo, what? And yeah, it's Naruto versus Sakura. And I'm guessing many of you guys can probably expect how this battle goes. When it comes to this, Naruto would kind of just crack his neck as he would begin to jump up into the air, kind of just stretching in a Goku fashion. He would get into his fighting stance as he would say, all right, Sakura, I'll try not to go too hard on you. And Sakura would actually be a little confident because she's sparred against Naruto a couple of times when he was putting in like 1% effort. So she would be thinking that, maybe there's a chance. But this is when the match would start, and Sakura would quite literally have Naruto blitz her, as he would quite literally give her a little smack on the behind, as Sakura would just be like, ah, as she would look behind her and Naruto would be in front of her. This is when Sakura would quite literally blink once as her eyes are closed, and the next time that she opens them is going to be hours later because Naruto knocked her ass out. After this, Naruto would go back up to the stands and just smile at Sasuke, as Sasuke is like, dude, I wish I could have had that battle. Naruto would just start dying, laughing his ass off, as Sasuke would go in and have his battle. He would actually be the one who has to fight against Kiba. And when it comes to this fight, if Naruto was able to handle Kiba with nothing but a fart by shitting in his face, then I'm pretty sure that Sasuke can definitely do a little something to Kiba. So when it comes to that match, nothing is really going to be happening because Sasuke kind of just bodies Kiba with the taijutsu skills of Rock Lee. Or actually, no, he still hasn't acquired them, but his taijutsu skills are pretty much on par with that. If not, his skills are pretty much at the level of 3rd Gate Rock Lee with 2 Sharingan. So pretty much 4th Gate Lee. That being said, though, guys, this is when Sasuke would kind of just obliterate Kiba, as the next couple of matches would happen, and Hinata would end up fighting against Neji. However, Naruto was not going to sit there on some, how dare you hurt Hinata? No, he doesn't do that or tell him that destiny doesn't mean anything, because Naruto isn't close to Hinata. He does not care whatsoever about her health, well-being. And Hinata doesn't even give Naruto the little get well ointment in this version, because she doesn't view Naruto as somebody that she should give her love to, because Naruto is kind of mean in her eyes. That being said, this is when they would all pretty much just have it announced that they're going to be going on that little 1 month training journey, as I'm kind of just going to have a time skip for the 1 month because I don't really feel like covering it. I mean, obviously Naruto is going to be training and meeting Jiraiya. However, when it comes to training with Jiraiya, the only real thing that he's going to be learning is how to use the Rasengan as well as using this summoning jutsu, because Jiraiya doesn't really have too much to teach him. On the occasional sparring with Jiraiya, that's pretty much all that they're really going to be doing. When it comes to Sasuke, he would have actually ended up mimicking Rock Lee's taijutsu skills, or at least the couple of moves that he saw that he thinks that he could put into his arsenal, because they never ended up actually getting to see a full 4th Gate Lee. He ended up having a fight against Choji, and all the rest of the other matches were kind of randomized. That being said, this is when all of them would kind of just get into their own little positions and get ready to get into their fights. As you know, All of them had their fights, and the 1 month is pretty much over. Jiraiya and Naruto's relationship in this version is kind of gonna be like, it's pretty much gonna be like 10 times more disrespectful Naruto at first, but after Naruto gets to know Jiraiya and actually sees him as a pretty cool guy, Naruto has so much respect for Jiraiya. Not only that, but when it comes to staring at girls, Naruto actually joined Jiraiya once and thought that it was actually pretty fun. So he pretty much ended up doing a little bit of it with Jiraiya, doing a little bit of a research, if you know what I'm putting down. And after that point, they all pretty much return for their little 1 month battles. But before we can cover that, we are actually going to be having to get a total of 200 likes if you guys want to see the next part of What If Naruto had Black Air Force Energy. There's probably going to be 2 more installments for this series, so if you guys want to see this series out to the end, then I am going to be needing the 200 like goal. After that, I am going to be finishing off the rest of the series with about 2 more parts, and yeah, after that, the series will be done, and I'll probably drop my next What If, which will probably just be the finale for What If Deku was Jiraiya's reincarnation. A lot of people seem to like that one, so I'm kind of just going to be finishing it off and then dropping the movie for it, or probably just dropping the movie version in and of itself. That being said, though, guys, that is pretty much where we are going to be wrapping up What If I was about to say Deku, but no, What If not What If Jiraiya, but What If Naruto had Black Air Force Energy. That being said, I hope you guys go on to check out the link down below to get yourself some dope anime merch and do yourselves a little bit of a favor. That being said, though, guys, I love each and every single one of you guys. It has been your boy Zether, and I am out. Peace.